My name is Elizabeth Loveday. I'm a stitch and fabric artist from southwest Cornwall. I make work about Cornish folklore and heritage. I was asked by Newlyn Art Gallery to recreate a piece of Textile's work. It's a sample from Miss Dick's workshop, who was Reginald Dick's wife, and he was part of the industrial class in Newlyn. I think it started in 1890, and I was asked to reproduce a sample from one of those workshops. So the original piece was made by a woman called Aida Harvey James, and it's a stencil of 3 poppies, believed to be designed by Reginald Dick, and it's kind of it looks a bit Art Nouveau, which really suits the time. It also looks quite Celtic, and not much is known about the design at all, apart from the fact that it's widely known that poppies represent optimism, and they also represent having positive thoughts of people that have died. So yeah, it's quite a joyous piece, made up of 3 poppies kind of dancing with leaves and stems. So yeah, I've been asked to recreate one of them so that there are 2 in existence. So as if I'm part of the workshop, over 100 years ago. So it's quite exciting because I'm reproducing something in the town where I grew up that was made over 100 years ago. I was going to reproduce the piece as closely to the original as possible. It's aged so much, it's really old. So reproducing it how it is now would have been, I just don't think it would have been right. So I had to make some edits, which was, it was quite fun actually. So what I've done is I've taken the process, the way they would have made it, and I've updated it slightly so that it's got a bit of me in it, which I'm sure people would have done when they were making them in the workshops. They wouldn't have just all been, cookie cutter. They would have been a bit more individual. I ended up doing the one that is going to be presented in Newlyn Art Gallery on a vintage piece of linen, which is actually from the 1920s, but it looked really close to the original, just so that it does mirror the original. And I think that's the kind of fabric that they would have used. And I used silks, which are actually from France. Even though they're 100 years old, the original silks are really shiny and they're still really glossy. So it was 100% silk, which is, it's fascinating that it was used on a sample, but it was, and so I tried to reproduce that as closely as I could.